been proven by many. Even the flu didn't know
Mr.
Evening.
Goodbye, Mr.
each other. We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I prefer not to give you another beating, Baron.
This one's mine!
Don't like that, do ya? Murdering bastard!
Want some of this?
This could be the box Lewis thought he lost. There's a letter inside. A love letter from Joe Peterson's wife, addressed to Barrett Lewis. Who should I give it to, I wonder?
This district seems to get uglier.
Mr.
Evening.
Goodbye.
Proven by many. Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial. When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith.
A gun?
Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Fancy pie?
You never lose your... I found this...
Let's have a look. Yeah, this is mine. So, you faced those loons that roam around there.
I suppose...
Luck is a commodity round here. Yours should be...
About this package. It's not just tools and trinkets, is it?
Don't want to be rude or anything after your kind gesture, but it's none of your business.
Barrett, you had a...
Yeah, I did. She's the only woman I loved. My first regret is that she stayed with Joe after Harry was born. The second is I never shed a tear when she died.
Do you mean you're Harry's father?
No one will ever know for sure. And it's better that way. And I don't believe I'd have been all that bad.
Did you ever try?
Never. But I suspected he knew everything, even without knowing it. And he decided to make me pay in his own way.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice.
What can you tell me?
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer. Good one, even.
It's never easy to find a new path in life.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever...
Nobody would be fooling...
Right then.
I should never have taken up my father's business.
Perhaps I should look into it.
I cannot enter.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bug...
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey! I didn't do anything, it ain't...
Medication and drugs are a rare commodity in...
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired, Deep.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Goodbye.
Cordial can be the answer to all your problems, as long as you have the money. Good evening.
I'd like to see what...
Gangs are ruining this neighborhood.
Good evening.
I'm afraid...
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it?
The doctors called me a liar. A coward. Put me in a
It's a pity that doctors...
Now only the pills stop me
A gun? Mr.
Evening.
Since I took an oath to help people...
Well, seen better days, that's for sure.
Infecting you is...
What? You give me this for free?
Goodbye, Mr.
Protection against malevolence and... You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your
This district seems to get uglier every year.
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Doc. Yeah,
Do you need some help?
I am very
Well, I think...
redraft.
Tell me everything you know.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doc.
Who is she?
She's...
You say she...
Well...
Goodbye. Good evening, Benjamin.
I'm afraid...
A gun...
You are blinded by your false faith.
I'm cheap.
Imprisoned by your daily routine.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind.
Do you need any...
It depends.
I am shocked.
Forgive my suspicion.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode.
Why this skeptic?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry?
Are you talking from
I've seen your type come here.
Goodbye, miss.
Good evening.
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice.
If you persist...
Thank you.
Goodbye, Hello again. Hello, Camellia. How are you, partner? Come on, girl. Smile. Don't you know Dorothy and I have an agreement? We're on the same side. No? You don't seem to need. Very well. Hello, sir. Sorry to disturb you at this hour. I'm a doctor inquiring about the epidemic. May I come in?
A doctor, you say? No, thank you.
All right. I shan't insist. Goodbye for now, sir.
Bloody monster! Take a breath in it!
I have this thirst for blood. Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
Kill it, boy! Burn it, boys! Trust the leech, boys! Die, vermin! Let's see how we like a bit of fire! Burn it, boys! Die, vermin! Trust the leech, boys! Burn it, boys! Die, vermin! I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm capable...
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so.
I wish this hospital could have received as much attention from you.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr.
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to...
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right.
I'm not the kind of man who runs...
Thank you. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my
Is there anything else that's...
Really? Why has no one else asked me?
Unfortunately, you are not the... Goodbye.
I will not let you down, my...
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Good
evening.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
I will be fine. As soon...
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick.
I'll try, Doctor.
Goodbye, nurse. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need any medical...
I'm afraid I do. Like every...
Our job brings...
That's easy for you to say, Doctor.
I'd like...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need medical help yourself?
I'm afraid I've contracted some illness.
Not under my watch, nurse.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Good evening, Mr.
Evening.
Soldier.
Not really.
As long as you remain here, I will...
Don't think you can...
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed?
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
So do you let her bite you?
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Tell me.
I went...
Did you...
No.
What?
I don't want...
Goodbye.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. And daily routine.
Hello again, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, miss.
Someone's poached my blanket. Oh, the cold will be my death.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood?
I'm not sure, Doc.
Do you plan to make him?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
I'll leave.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical attention?
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most help.
Don't take too many risks with your health.
And that is a...
Please show me.
Of course.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this?
Despite what you think about...
Well, at least you...
Goodbye, Mrs.
I'm all right.
Good evening, Mi-
I'm okay.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case.
Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reed.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you, then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
I have to...
Doctor.
I will not let you down, my boy.
The daily routine.
Good evening.
Dr. Reed.
And why?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more...
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox.
This place is full of sickness and decay.
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating...
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that...
I'll leave. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan...
Dr. Reed. So it's you who saved my friend Oswald. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you are?
Newton Blight. Oswald and I recently returned from the war.
Why do you stay?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
What can you tell me about the war?
War was... Well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision.
Could you speak to him?
What caused your phobia?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. I couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Goodbye, Mr.
We fought for England, but England won't fight for us.
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes, this neighbourhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Do you need medical attention?
Don't get me wrong, sir. I'm grateful for what you've done, but I've never felt comfortable with doctors.
I will see you later. Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if you're so interested in my case.
When I rescued you, you expressed joy at seeing the sky again. So I'm inclined to believe you were trapped or buried somehow. Maybe during a shelling.
Jeez, you're good, Doc. You're really good.
Go on, please. Tell me more about it.
Newton and I were trapped in a circulation tunnel after an artillery attack. We were buried alive for several days, without ever knowing if we'd be found.
Oswald, tell me about what happened. When you were buried in that tunnel with Newton.
It was more than dark. It was black as pitch. Hours seemed like days, and days like months. Oh, the terror, the shameful thoughts. Lord have mercy.
What you endured was terrifying. It would have completely destroyed weaker men.
It did not destroy Newton.
Shameful thoughts. Tell me about them.
At some point, I don't remember which day, when I thought we'd never be rescued, that this would be our end, I thought about...
Say it, Mr. Thatcher. If you ever want to heal, you have to say it.
I thought about what I could do to survive. Just for a few more days. I thought about killing Newton. Killing and eating him. The man I fucking love.
Tell me about your true feelings for Newton.
I love him. I'm not ashamed to say it. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. I can't imagine life without him.
I admire your honesty. It takes courage to stand up to society. The world needs people like you to create change.
Courage is what we needed in the trenches, looking death in the face every day. I speak plain. I speak my mind.
Have you always been this straightforward?
All I know is, before you saved me by the sewer, my only regret was I wouldn't be able to hold or kiss Newton again. I love him, that's all.
Why should you be ashamed?
I'm not, I said. But Newton sees it differently.
Mr. Thatcher, do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital, but I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's what the bloody doctor said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take care of yourself.
In this letter, Mortimer Goswick does nothing to hide his desire to die. I could give it to his mother, but doing so would betray his trust. It's locked, all right. Hello again, Mr.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical attention?
Afraid so.
Throughout history,
You're working at the...
You and Oswald were buried...
Yeah. It was last summer.
How did you...
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost.
Oswald seemed far more...
It wasn't a first...
How do you feel about...
I love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
What if people find out? Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that. It's more, well... You know... I never thought I'd love a man.
Enjoy your love. And enjoy life as long as you can, Mr. Blight. Don't let anyone tell you who you should love or how you should love them.
I appreciate your kind words, sir. But it ain't that easy. It's all so new to me.
Goodbye, Mr. Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
I've read your letter, Mortimer. You wrote about an unbearable feeling of despair while the world crumbles around you. Tell me more about it.
There's nothing more to say, really. It's hurtful, it's unbearable, and I don't ask anyone to understand what I feel.
Don't you see how lucky you are? You're rich, you're in good health, and you have a loving mother. You're simply drowning in self-pity.
Leave me alone then, Doctor, and let me drown myself.
I've read...
There's nothing...
Don't you see...
Leave me alone.
I have retrieved your letter, Mr. Goswick.
Thank you. This is for you, then. For your help. And for your son.
I think you should talk to your mother. It would be good for both of you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I'll think about it. Now...
I have to go.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor.
Your son wished to die, Beatrice.
Are you not aware suicide is a crime? Mortimer could be thrown in...
I understand you fear the... legal consequence.
All my son needs is help.
Mortimer is
As you say, Mortimer had no reason to die. All he said to me was that he wanted to make the world a better place, but couldn't.
What do you think he meant by making the world a better place?
Mortimer has always been a sensitive soul. He wouldn't talk to anyone for months after his father passed. It's like he carries everyone's sadness with him.
Why did your son feel so useless when facing the world?
I think it was more that he could only see the melancholy facets of life.
I have read your son's suicide note. It was...
He threatened to kill himself a few times before. But I never thought he would dare to punish me this much.
Punish you? Why?
I've known for a long time he was not happy with his life. But I always hoped he cared enough to avoid making me suffer like this.
Do you realize your son could try to kill himself again? He might succeed next time.
I think about it every minute. But I won't stop fighting for my son's future. That's how much I love him.
Your determination is laudable, but you are in a state of denial, Mrs. Goswick. Your son has a very strong death wish.
How dare you talk to a mother like that? Talk to me like that?
I'm only trying to be honest, Mrs. Goswick. As painful as this fatal end may be for you, you have to accept this is a possibility.
No, I'll never accept it. If my son was to die under your care, well, you have no idea what I'm capable of, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Miss...
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan fellow.
It's locked.
Not now.